Hello. This presentation will provide you with the information about the MACC on-course radio program. It includes a very brief history of this program and very important information that you will need to know to properly use the radios on a MACC course. Proper use of the radios while working on course has an effect on running the course efficiently and on the overall safety of the course. Please note that this presentation covers radio use from the gate judge perspective. Other radio users have a separate presentation that covers their use of the new radios. While this covers it from the gate judge perspective, I do believe that almost everyone involved in MACC will find something of interest in this presentation. Background. Long ago, MACC changed from having clubs responsible for providing the crew to run a race to having the director of course operations schedule the crew that runs the race. This change was accompanied by a training effort where several MACC members were trained as USSA referees. The training helped MACC do a much better job of running and maintaining our courses. The change was also accompanied by the purchase of a number of handheld radios. The radios were used for a time, but the radios fell into disuse. Last season, radio use made a comeback. One of our chiefs of course used the remaining few radios for a training mission. As an experiment, we began using a collection of gifted radios to see how radios would work on course if everyone working the course had a radio. The experiment proved worthwhile. Communication was improved. Course holds happened in a timely manner. Maintenance could be dispatched quicker with the correct tools and gear. This helped move the race along quicker. The ability to call for aid contributes to overall safety. New radios. The new radios purchased will allow us to operate the course radios using their privacy codes. The radio will be set up to transmit on a channel. Each channel is subdivided by privacy codes. The use of a privacy code allows MACC to avoid hearing any other radio users who may be using the same channel as MACC is using. If a radio user were to use the exact channel and privacy code setting as MACC was using, MACC users could hear the transmissions. Since the new radios have 122 privacy codes, we believe that we can be successful at avoiding other users on the channel. At the start, we will be using the original 32 analog privacy codes for compatibility with older radios. If we find that the 32 analog codes are not good enough, we will begin using all 122 digital privacy codes. Lapel mics. One significant addition to the MACC radio program is the purchase of lapel mics. The lapel mics will be on all gate judge radios. This will make the radio easy to operate, particularly with a gloved hand. The operation of the radio is simple enough to describe as turn it on, hold the button down, talk, let go of the button, turn it off. All the radios are identical, so there will be no confusion as to how to operate the radios like we saw last year with our collection of gifted radios. Usage overview. During the radio experiment last season, we had different methods of passing out and collecting radios from radio users, including the course operations team. For 2018, everyone will have a standard place to obtain their radio and then return their radio. For the gate judge, they will find their radio in a special radio pocket in the gate judge bib. The radio will have a lapel mic attached to the radio and secured to the bib. When you put your bib on, turn on the radio and set a reasonable volume. Report to your position on course. After the race is finished and your work card is turned in, turn off the radio and return the gate judge bib to our orange guy bib collection point. Your gate judge assignment is not done until you have returned your bib to the orange guy. Usage instructions, general information. Proper radio protocol requires that only one person talk at a time. Avoid pressing the talk button on your radio while someone else is talking, as that will garble the message of the talker. The gate judge radios will be placed in the bibs ready to be turned on. The radios turn on in a locked down state. Locked down means that the user cannot change any of the radio settings unless they know how to unlock the radio. The radio will be anchored in the pocket. It should not be necessary for the radio user to unlock the radio. Note, it should not be necessary for the radio user to unlock the radio. Turning the radio on and off. This slide is self-explanatory. When you first turn the radio volume knob on, you will hear a click. That click is followed by a chirp that the radio makes as it powers on. When you rotate the power volume knob back to the off position, the radio is not off until you hear the click. There's a click when you start, a chirp as the radio boots up, and then a click when you turn it off. Remember, turn the radio off when your assignment is finished. Transmitting, talking. Proper radio protocol requires that only one person talk on the channel at a time. When you talk on the radio, it is important to hold the button down on the mic before you talk. The proper sequence is press and hold the talk button, wait a beat, basically count to 1 in your head, begin talking, hold the talk button while you talk, finish talking by saying over, release the button. It's really, really important that we pay attention to this. Otherwise, we'll have people stepping on one another's transmissions and then no one will know what is said. Communication, general information. We use the radios to say exactly what needs to be said, nothing more and nothing less. Speak clearly and at a reasonable pace. Our goal is running the race safely and fairly, not having a nice conversation. Remember, the radios are not for idle chit-chat. Gate judges, what to say, what not to say. The purpose of the on-course radios are to keep track of maintenance issues on course, direct maintenance workers quickly to the right tool with the right tools to solve the issues, permit the course to be held and resume efficiently, and make it possible to call emergency aid quicker. All of this contributes to safety. It also contributes to fairness by helping course operations workers maintain the course conditions fairly. The final statement on this slide cannot be stressed enough. The primary function of the gate judge is to rule on the passage of every competitor through the gates the judge is responsible for observing. It is imperative that every gate judge records DQs on their gate card. It is imperative that every gate judge records DQs on their gate card. You'll notice under what to say we have course hold requests and releases, maintenance requests, and assistance requests. Under what not to say is disqualifications, chit-chat, and anything else. We tried using having disqualifications announced, and we decided to abandon that. It is not, we cannot use that evidence. It has to be on the gate card. It is imperative that every gate judge records DQs on their gate judge card. Now, let's talk about course holds. There are two parts to a course hold, the request and the release. It is important to know that any time the course is held, the course must be released when the condition is cleared. Typically, the person requesting the hold should take responsibility to release the hold. Please know that holding the course is serious. We should do it when we need to for safety or to permit maintenance to be performed. There are issues where we need to put a hold on starts at the top of the hill. Things like a competitor happens to be taking a little extra time to get through there because they got tangled up and had to, hike a bit. These are times where we have to hold the course we don't want to do it if we don't have to. But we need to do it to make sure that it stays safe. Pole signals. In the past, gate judges used their ski poles to communicate. Crossed poles signaled a DQ. Two poles held upright requested a hold on course. Pole signals work if everything flows smoothly in the timing shack. When things do not flow smoothly, pole signals can be missed. This is not finger pointing. It is just the reality of what goes on in the timing shack during a race. Switching to radios means that the timing shack should hear the hold request on their radio and hold the course. Race observers should note that, since we are no longer depending on pole signals, the observers may not understand that the course has been held. In any event, gate judges can always resort to pole signals if they feel that their radio request has not been heard. If in doubt, put your poles up. Maintenance. You know, gate judges are really the only course official with eyes on for the entire race. We typically have them doing an extra responsibility in that they are there to not only judge whether a competitor made it through the gates, but they provide information to the chief of course for maintenance. Our gate judges have responsibilities beyond what a USSA gate judge would have. A USSA FIS gate judge would have a gate card and only observe the progress of each racer past the gates they are charged with observing. Our gate judges, MACC gate judges, have the additional responsibility of helping manage the course itself, the course maintenance. In all cases relating to maintenance, though, the ultimate decision belongs to the chief of course. If you see something, report it. If at all possible, tell them what gear they may need, a red or blue pole, a drill, a rake, what have you. But it is really the chief of course's responsibility to determine how and when any of that maintenance gets done. There are issues that pertain to when you can do maintenance to a course in a fair fashion. In any event, we would prefer safety over fairness. Assistance. If a racer should crash hard on course, the gate judge nearest the down racer has a responsibility to make a judgment call as to whether the course needs to be held. Once a racer makes a valid start, though, the course really belongs to that racer for the length of time required to complete the course. If they are having difficulty but have not committed a disqualifying foul, the course belongs to them. It's theirs. In all cases, we should try to allow a racer every opportunity to finish. If you judge that a racer who has crashed or is otherwise having difficulty needs to have a hold put on, you should place the hold. If they are down, you need to determine if they are okay and they wish to continue. If the racer cannot or will not continue, you might help them off the course. If the racer is hurt or otherwise not responsive, immediately call on the radio to the top of the course and ask them to call for ski patrol. If the racer continues or moves away from the course, then release the hold. This is critical. We allow our gate judges to aid the competitor somewhat, and that's just so that we can help keep the race moving. Summary. In the video description there is a link to the slides. We believe that proper radio use can significantly enhance course operations and safety. Remember, if it needs to be said, say it. If it doesn't, say nothing. Please remember that the best radio transmission may be none at all. Our goal in using the radios is enhancing on-course safety and aiding us in running a fair race. Keep the messages short, simple, and clear. End your message with over. As you see in the last bullet, you have my email address. Please direct all your comments and suggestions and questions to me. I would be happy to take them on. Thank you all for your time and attention, and see you on the hill.